I want to show you that the biggest problem with child abuse is when mothers get involved. The BBC article, the BBC is feminist run, so they're going to downplay it. As the Philippines sees a pandemic boom in child sex abuse, the reason it's boom because their mothers are the ones selling them off, right? That's what's going on, and that's why it's booming, and no one's been able to really do anything about it. And Eric is, they've changed the names, but Eric is definitely a boy. So I want you to remember that. So he just lost his baby teeth, but is small for his age. His white check shirt hangs off his tiny shoulder. So this is a boy. And they talk about putting him in therapy, right? Now, for years, when the neighborhood was asleep as much as the Western world was awake, all four children were forced to perform sex shows for pedophiles around the world, for women around the world, too. I'll say that, too. Half these pedophiles are women. They were raped and repeatedly sexually abused on camera by their mother. Their father, aunt, and uncle also took part. So their mother was the rapist, right? She was the prime one, and she was the salesperson. It was the children's father who eventually reported his wife and her family to the police, allegedly after a dispute. He probably wasn't getting his cut. This is a scumbag too, but investigators traced payments to the family accounts from UK and Switzerland. Okay. Months later, Eric, his brothers and sister ended up home run by Charity Prada, which focuses on helping sexually abused children. Right. Now, this has also been Miss Baldo's job for 17 years. In the time, images and videos of child sexual abuse have ballooned into a billion-dollar industry in the Philippines, now the world's largest source of such exploitation. You know why? Because of two reasons. One, the Philippines is dirt poor. Two, the people who are selling are the children's mothers. That's one thing they're telling you, but they're also not telling you. And in fact, here they are, they're going to try and make excuse. Then came the pandemic, more than 2 years of lockdown, and some of the world's largest schools closures left vulnerable children, vulnerable to their mothers, stuck at home with cash-strapped parents desperate to make money. If if all the parents were, or most of them were single fathers, they would just call them pedophiles. But because the mothers are doing it, then they're cash-strapped parents, right? So let's see. Miss Baldo fears the abuse is becoming normalized in the Philippines and may become an epidemic. Right. Hmm. And look, President Bongbong Marcos has declared an all-out war on child sexual abuse and the industry it has spurred. But so far, it's a war the Philippines is not winning. Well, duh. Because for it to be an all-out war, you would have to war against the mothers who are abusing their children. And they're not willing to do that. That's why it's falling apart. In this new age, women shouldn't be allowed to give birth just because they can. It's that simple. I don't believe in it anymore. That's what's going on. These women, when they're desperate, the children are just objects that they own that they can do what they like with. And and no one's willing to really clamp down on that. And also, this mother's obviously a pedophile. They're not saying that about her, are they? Here they are. They're at least good enough to admit that this mother was taken up by the place. She thinks she is messaging a paying customer in Australia who is requesting a live sex show involving her three children. In truth, her texts are going to an undercover police officer. And of course, dozens of officers rush in to path to her door and they arrest her. Right. So, I mean, By the way, the operation then took dozens of officers, weeks to plan, and led to two arrests on Manila and the other city. They are losing because of all the time it takes to grab one of these mothers who sell their children off. Oh my God. Man, this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes get several social workers say that they have to spend days, even weeks, pushing local police to rescue the children and file charges against the mothers. They say the parents, but it's the mothers. I guarantee you, if the parent was a single father, it would be immediately. They'd say, get the man. Because remember, we say it over and over again here at the Pro Male Collective. This isn't about protecting children, it's about getting the man. And there's no man to get, then no one wants to do any arrest. They don't care about the children. Not really. The parent is the mother. She can do what she like with them. That's the thing. Sometimes we get the cooperation of the law enforcement authorities. Other times, the actions of people who are supposed to really protect children are delayed. Why? Because they see it's a woman who's doing the abuse. And they don't want to arrest her. But we have to work around it. Right. Gee, this is pathetic. This pisses me off too, right? Because the boy they were talking was a little boy. He said he just lost his teeth, right? But here they're talking about an organization first set up children's home for girls. Okay, hopefully they have one for boys. 1970s, and it had become a hub for sex tourism, illegal prostitution between foreign men and Filipino girls, often still in their teens. In other words, this was a little boy that was sex trafficked by his mother. And now they're trying to include these teenage girls who I don't think they were sex trafficked. I think these girls wanted, just like this mother here, wanted out of this impoverished country. And they realized they could shack up with some American guy and tried to get to the land of wealth. Are young women pushed into the sex trade by family pressure to economic desperation? Well, that's no worse than the young boys who were sold off to become work drones. For the people don't care about that. Now, years on, social workers fear much of the sexual abuse here is generational. Many of the children's mothers who are also raped and sexually assaulted see how they're trying to protect mothers, the ones that are doing it. They believe their view is it happened to me. I did this to survive, and so must you. No, this woman was probably a pedophile. This mother was probably a pedophile. And notice again, that's why I pointed out that they're talking about her sons, right? Her sons are being sold off. So notice that they don't consider that the men are generational and that they suffered abuse and therefore it's affected them. They don't say that about the fathers. They're saying this about the mothers to get them off the hook, to paint them in a good light, or I should say a sympathetic light. Now, Father Shea Cullen, the founder of PRETA, has been fighting for the rights of abused children in the Philippines since 1974. Right, Father Shea Cullen is the one. Right. And he's been fighting why? One, people don't really care about children, but two, the child abusers are their mothers, and they don't want to arrest women. Period. And of course, they talk about this boy. He says he enjoys singing and he joins his friends in playroom, blah, blah, blah. They're talking about a boy, and what are they doing? They're showing a picture of all girls. And they're in the karate or something, right? They're ready for the fight against the evil man. Just the fact that they're showing all girls while they're talking to a little boy, like, make me puke. Nah, all names of victims have been changed. Yeah. Okay. And this is all I wanted to say about this. Look, the major reason why these boom in sex child abuse happens is because the mothers are the ones that are doing the abuse and doing the selling. And societies worldwide never want to arrest the mother. They don't want to put women in jail. Because, like I said, if it was found out that these were all single fathers, there would be immediate attack. Men would be demonized. They would have the BBC would have articles saying, should men be allowed to be fathers, or should fathers be separated from their children? I guarantee you that. So this is why this boom is, because they don't want to arrest women. And they definitely do everything in their power not to demonize them and let them off the hook. Okay, goodbye, everyone.